Welcome back to TaraChessAcademy. Today we're going to learn how to convert positional advantages into mating attacks.
Hi everyone. Today we prepared two interesting positions from polymorphous games, and you will see how everything started with positional advantage, some small details like a passed pawn or better position of the pieces, and what you can do with this advantage and start some attack or combinations. So e4 e6. So in this game, black played French defense, but after d4, black played c5. Yeah, so of course white wants to use that fact that the black pawn is not here on d5, and that's why d5, e5, f4, d6. So it looks like Benoni defends a little, but it looks like white has one more tempo. So we just continue our development. Knight f3, bishop g4. Probably in this position already black has some problems. So the first advantage that we can use, we should try to get a passed pawn in this position. So Tara, what ideas do you have?
One way to create a passed pawn is to break your opponent's pawn structure. So if we capture the pawn on e5 and then black captures back, they just separated their pawns, and now we have this passed d pawn.
Yeah, it's protected passed pawn. So in the game, black decided to capture the knight first. So queen takes, and after d6 takes e5, white gets protected passed pawn. So, of course, we should continue our development, and it would be great if we just continue it with some attacking moves. So bishop b5. You see, if your opponent can't play c6 or bishop d7, yeah, when you have to think to trade bishops or to defend your bishop to move it away, of course, moves like bishop b5 looks even better. Knight d7, yeah, the first pin that white gets in this position. We also, of course, want to develop the dark square bishop, but I don't think that I want to develop it to e3. I think if black plays knight f6, then I want to play bishop g5. Yeah, so that's why white doesn't hurry up with development of this bishop. So knight c3 was played, knight f6. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, bishop g5. And black just made a typical move, bishop e7, but even before this move, black already had some problems. And now Morphy found an interesting attacking move that gave him a huge advantage. So Tara, what ideas do you have?
Here we notice that black is defending so many things, and it could possibly make him and be overloaded with defending all of these things. So let's see what happens if we try to remove one of the defenders by capturing the knight. Let's see if that works.
Okay, which knight exactly you want to capture?
The knight on f6.
Okay, I think I take with the bishop, don't want to spoil my pawn structure.
We remove the defenders, and now if we try queen f5 to put more pressure on the knight, black already has, the score is 2 attackers for white, but also 2 defenders for black, the queen and the king. So this is not a very big problem. We can't create a lot of advantages. So let's go back and think of another move.
But of course, when you know that it's time for some tactics, you should start with thinking about checks, captures, or some attacking moves. So that's why we started with bishop takes f6. Maybe bishop takes d7 doesn't give big advantage here. Yeah, so probably we shouldn't concentrate just on captures. It could be just an attacking move, for instance.
The other defender that black has in the position is the bishop on e7. So let's try to distract the bishop by moving our pawn to d6. Let's see what is white's plan.
Yeah, I don't think that someone gonna play bishop f8, so bishop takes. Okay, and now we get an open file, so maybe it's a good time to use it.
And instead of just moving our rook to d1, we can do this in a really cool way by castling to the queen side. So we castle and our rook gets to the open file.
Yeah, so the bishop is attacked, and I think now we can discuss three more like possible moves: queen c7, queen e7, or bishop e7. Maybe first let's start with bishop e7. So what happens now?
After the bishop goes to e7, we would really like to capture the knight on d7, but it has a lot of defenders. So first, let's capture the knight on f6.
So bishop takes, and now this knight still has two defenders, but the problem is that white attacking pieces are not the same as the queen, for instance. Yeah, so that's why this exchange, of course, would be good for white. Maybe we can even capture with the rook. So if the queen escapes, we will have discovered check. So, and of course, this position is absolutely winning for white. Yeah, so this is what happens after bishop e7. Now let's go back and discuss, for instance, what would white do after queen e7.
So instead of moving the bishop away, black defends the bishop with their queen. So let's make the queen move away by moving our knight to d5.
Knight d5. So this knight is pinned, and we try to attack it more, but at the same time we attack the queen too. Okay, so I just move it to d8.
And now we could capture the knight on f6.
Yeah, maybe we can capture with a bishop, for instance. Yeah, this knight is still pinned, which is good for us. So pawn takes, knight takes. Yeah, you see, if queen takes, it's not a good idea. The queen is actually not defended. So probably after knight takes f6, it's a check. We attack the knight. So if the king moves away, yeah, we can just capture it. So like we have so many extra pieces, yeah. Or we can also think about taking the bishop with the rook. So of course this position is winning for white. So yeah. Okay, and let's think what happens if black plays queen c7.
So now when the queen goes to c7, the difference is that now the knight on f6 is no longer in a pin. So if we try moving our knight to d5, the black knight can just capture, and it's just a trade.
Yeah, but even in this position, of course, white still should have advantage. But yeah, knight d5 is not the strongest move.
So first we can capture the knight on f6. The pawn has to capture, and now we can move our knight to d5.
Knight to d5. I also was thinking about playing queen takes f6. It looks like a double attack. So
yeah,
okay.
It looks even better.
So, and we still get extra material, which is good for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but knight to d5 also looks nice. You attack the queen, you want to capture the pawn and still attack the knight, it will be pinned. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so d6 in this position was a nice plan. Yeah. And that's why, of course, black shouldn't let white to create this protected passed pawn. It wasn't the best idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now let's go to the next position, which happened also in the game of Paul Morphy, but this time he played black. The last move that white made is queen a6, so white just wants to trade queens, but Morphy prepared surprise in this position. So let's think like, yeah, if you want to understand which positional advantage you have or you can use. So first, like one of the details that you should think about is position of the king of your opponent. Yeah, so probably here in this position, if we have a look at the white's king side, you see that maybe it's a little bit undefended, just a bishop here. Yeah, and like white pieces are too far away. The rook also is blocking the king, maybe more than defending it. So let's think what black could try in this position.
After white offers the queen trade, if we just move our queen away or accept the queen trade, we can't take advantage that white has defenders. White doesn't have lots of defenders near the king. So instead of moving away or accepting the trade, let's try to open up the king by capturing the bishop with the queen.
Queen sacrifice. Okay, you should be confident
Yeah.
in this and calculate everything, of course. So yeah, if white doesn't accept this sacrifice, it looks like black just gets extra material. So, okay, pawn captures.
Now we have to take advantage that the king is open.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move our rook to g3, g6.
Yeah, okay. King moves to h1. Right now you see that you don't have any checks, but just the rook is not enough in this position for attacking the king, so of course black should use some new pieces. So let's think what we can do.
If we move the bishop to h3.
So we attack the rook, and at the same time we want to get to g2. Okay, I just want to trade rooks, so what happens if I play rook g1?
Then you could move the bishop to g2.
Okay, yeah, it's one possible move, bishop to g2, or maybe we can just capture. So probably let's discuss both of these plans. Bishop g2, rook takes. Yeah, I think it also should work. Rook e1, queen f1, yeah, and we have forced mate, right? So, and it looks like the same happens if we just trade rooks. Yeah, play rook e1 and queen f1, we still have checkmate. Okay, so that's why rook g1 is not a good idea. And white doesn't want to lose the rook, so that's why in the game white played rook to d1. Okay, after this, black makes a check, bishop g2, king g1, bishop takes f3, king f1, and let's think what is the strongest move in this position, because I think that black has a very nice plan about mating the king, but probably it shouldn't be forced.
So we're trying to look for, we don't want to look for checks, and also if we capture the rook, we win material, but we have to remember that we sacrifice the queen. So trying to give checkmate as soon as possible is the best thing. So let's try to move the rook to g2.
So we attack the pawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like this move is not so good because it's easy for white to protect it. So what happens after d3? Yeah, with the idea to open the second rank for the rook.
After the pawn goes to d3, we can't capture the pawn on f2 because the rook can capture back and then it's not a checkmate.
I agree. So what else could we do?
We could capture the other pawn on h2.
So it looks like our plan is to get to the first rank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I don't see what white can do. Even I don't know if queen captures, we still have mate, so we protect all these squares. Yeah. Okay, so this is what probably Morpheus should do after rook g2 black has mate, but it's not forced. But in the game, he just decided to continue his attack. Yeah, so king h1. Black captured the pawn with the idea of mate in 1. Yeah, bishop g2, so white has to give the queen back. So, and in this position, yeah, of course, it would be much better to finish the game faster and to mate in several moves. Yeah, but even in this position, it looks like black has several extra pawns and white has nothing to do. So after bishop s3, white resigned. Yeah, so for instance, if the bishop takes, black has mate in 2. So of course, it's really hard for white to defend this position.
Yeah.
So this is how you can convert some positional advantage into attack. Yeah, especially if you have like passed pawns or some pins, more active position of your pieces, if you control more space, or if you see that position of the king of your opponent is not well defended.
Yeah. And if we notice all of these, try to notice all of these things in the game, then we can start to think, how could I take advantage of this? Because these are the imbalances, so we should try to act on them. We don't want to not take advantage and then lose the chance. So if we see those advantages, we should try to think, how can we try to improve the position so that we can get what we want and possibly a checkmate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
Bye!